Welcome back to News 46. When a cardiac arrest occurs outside the hospital, it's important for bystanders to perform effective CPR as soon as possible, but that doesn't always happen. A new study examined whether providing CPR instruction over the phone with help from trained 911 dispatchers would improve survival rates for people who experience cardiac arrest.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
Dentist Tim Gailey began his day like any other, seeing patients.
I sat down and that was the last thing I remembered. I just collapsed.
Dr. Gailey experienced a cardiac arrest. With the 911 dispatcher on the phone, his staff began CPR.
I'm so grateful that I had 911 and someone helping direct me.
People don't always think about 911 dispatchers as the first medical responders, but they really are. It turns out that they really have this enormous life-saving potential.
Are the paramedics there?
Many 911 dispatchers already offer CPR instruction over the phone, but Dr. Ben Bobrow from the Arizona Department of Health Services and co-authors provided additional training to 911 dispatchers in 2 regional centers in the Phoenix metropolitan area. The dispatchers were trained to be more confident and assertive with the rescuers on the phone. They measured outcomes for more than 2,300 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests during a 3-year period.
Training them to say, you need to do chest compressions. I'm going to help you. Let's start. We've actually found that that subtle thing is very important in motivating lay rescuers.
We have to use a very strict tone of voice to kind of get them to listen to us and pull all that chaoticness away from them.
Our dispatchers did well. They gave telephone CPR instructions significantly more often. They got the first chest compression started much sooner. We found a 32% relative increase in the proportion of patients that survived a hospital discharge, so they went home from the hospital, and remarkably, a 43% relative increase in functional outcome, which means patients that actually went back home in good shape.
That's exactly what happened to Dr. Gailey, a husband and father of 13. Thanks to everyone working together, he survived.
I was just praying that he would be okay, thinking about his children, and I would do the right things that he needed.
I just remember giving them hugs and crying and telling them how grateful I was that they saved my life and how grateful my family was to them for saving me.
Catherine Dolf, The JAMA Report.
Bystander CPR has been shown to double or even triple survival from out-of-hospital cardiac arrest.
Well, we are going into triple-digit temperatures this week. Susan Ryhal from the Nye County Animal Control talks about tips to keep your pets safe during these blistering hot days.
A dog house as the only source of shade outside of the direct heat or sunlight is not adequate. A lot of times it gets hotter inside the dog house than it is outside.
Yeah, so they don't often want to go inside the doghouse.
Correct, but if that's their only escape out of the direct sunlight, they will go inside the house to escape the sun.
So what should a pet owner do?
Just provide your dog with shade. Think about the temperatures outside. If you can't stand out there on the rocks or the dirt or the asphalt or the sidewalk with your bare feet, then your dog can't stand out there either.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because you see people walking their dogs around town in this heat. Tell me about the temperature of the ground and what's kind of the rule to keep your dog safe?
Well, the rule of thumb is if you can't walk on it, your dog can't walk on it. But to kind of test the temperature and see if it's adequate for your dog to walk on it, place the back of your hand on the ground. If you can't hold it there for 5 seconds, longer than 5 seconds, without it burning your hand, too hot for your dogs.
Let's talk about animals in vehicles.
Well, that is definitely a no-no. Leave your pets at home. If your animal is a service dog, by all means, take it with you, take it into the business with you. Don't leave your animals in a vehicle, not even for 5 minutes. It can kill them.
What about leaving the air conditioning on when you're going inside a store? Is that a good idea?
Well, it obviously would be a good idea. However, in the state of Nevada, it is illegal to leave a running car unattended. So you don't want to leave your car running unattended and leave the air conditioning on, because then you could find yourself in trouble with the sheriff's office. So they can, get a little bit restless inside the vehicle, cause the gear shift to come out of gear. Now you have a rolling vehicle, lock you out of the car, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, don't leave your animals in the vehicle. Don't leave the car running. It's best just to leave them home. Take them with you when the temperatures are cool, such as really early in the morning or at night. But be mindful, even early in the morning, when it's 70 degrees outside, the temperature inside your vehicle can raise to a dangerous level.
Bob Pilkington from My Paralegal talks to seniors about the differences between a will and a living trust.
Hi, welcome to Health and Safety Tips for Seniors. With me this week is Bob Pilkington from My Paralegal. Bob is here to explain the differences between wills and trusts and why they're important.
Tonya, a last will and testament is the document you take to tell your personal representative what you want to do with their stuff, and that's what you take to the court and probate. That distribution is usually done under the supervision of the court.
What is a trust?
A trust, on the other hand, is the specific document to avoid probate. You set everything up, you put it in the trust, usually anything with a title or a deed. Put that in your trust, and when you pass away, it just passes on to your heirs through the trust, usually without any court supervision.
Now, this is really going to be a silly question, but what do you recommend and what is actually best?
Actually, it depends on the person. It's hard to say what's best because each person is different. Some people need a trust, some people don't. What you have to be careful of is the attorneys coming up from Las Vegas and Henderson saying everything that was prepared in Pahrump by an attorney or by a paralegal is no good, and they're taking those trusts and trying to probate them. And actually, one attorney has been scolded profusely by Judge Wonker for that exact reason.
I have one more question, and why is it important to have a trust when it comes to family members?
You have to have something, because if you don't have anything, there's going to be a fight. And I always say the most expensive and valuable things in your house have no monetary value. They are the items that have sentimental value, and they will fight over those things. May not fight over the monetary value, but they will fight over the sentimental value.
Thanks, Tonya. More local news after the break.